Welcome to The Advocator. I am your host, Roxanne Danielle. As we know, The Advocator's mission is to highlight things that are going on in our community that affect society as a whole, as well to bring awareness to local businesses and talents in the Western New York area. We are privileged today to have two guests. We have our Thomas artist, and we also have Katie Herod. Excuse me, I've messed that up several times. Anyway, we will be right back and we'll have a great time on the show today. Bye.
I believe in nature.
I believe in the spirit.
I believe in trust. Beauty.
I believe in my mom.
Strawberry ice cream.
Fortune cookies.
Chocolate.
I believe in
The Tooth Fairy.
being honest with yourself.
I believe in Santa Claus.
Aliens, of course. I believe what I want to believe.
I believe in myself.
I believe in myself. I believe in peace.
Welcome back to The Advocator. Now, as I already stated, we have two guests on the show today, but we specifically want to talk to Katie Herod about what's going on in her life, and she brought her guest friend, confidant with her, Thomas artist, to talk about things that he knows that are related to what she has to talk about. Now, I'm not going to give away what she has to talk about. I'm going to let her go ahead and talk about it. So, Katie, how are you today?
Doing great, thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to be on the show.
My pleasure.
But first, before we get into some of the other things, we want to know a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a woman who is married to a wonderful husband, Jerome, and we have three lovely children. They're all grown, 30, 28, and 20. And then I've got two grandsons as well, 8 and 7 months. So I've got my hands full with my family.
Okay, so you're a working woman first, you know, and a mother and
Yes.
a grandmother, and have a lot of family things going on.
All of those important things first in the family, but I'm also an attorney. I've been an attorney for 30 years now.
Okay.
I went to school in Maryland, but I grew up right here in Buffalo. Always loved the Western New York area. Got married there. My husband's from Maryland area. Had our two children there.
And you convinced him to come here?
Yes, you know, he really loves me. And so
You must be one heck of a woman if you can convince your husband to move from Maryland to Buffalo.
Okay, I have to admit, he did come kicking and screaming a little bit.
He was a little mad.
But just a little bit. But he's grown to love this community as well.
Oh.
And so we came back in the early 90s, and I what's called waved into New York in terms of not having to take the bar exam again. And so started my own law firm in 1994 here. And then had another baby in 94. So my life has taken a few turns with the family and with my career, but it's been a real challenge as well as a joy.
Okay, all right, that sounds really good. But what kind of law do you practice?
For the most part, I do civil practice. That means I don't do criminal law, and I do a lot of family court matters. Is that something you thought you might need help with?
I might have needed a criminal attorney, but I'm going to plead the fifth for this session.
That would be a good idea.
Good idea.
Absolutely.
At least, okay.
But much of my expertise is in the area, especially of custody matters, visitation, what they call here family offense. That's where, you know, you have trouble in the family, arguments, and, you know, that can even escalate into domestic violence kind of things. And so I've done all of that. I've done adoptions, wills, anything dealing with the family is what I've done over these many years.
Well, definitely the way you started and talking about your husband and your children and your family, it definitely sounds like that would be an avenue that you would take, because that seems like that is something that's very, very, very important to you.
You're absolutely right. It's first and foremost. In fact, when I had an opportunity to go into some other areas of the law, even as perhaps an assistant attorney general. I got a call one day, but at that time I was actually holding my newest baby at that time as I got that call. And I did think for about 1 second, and then I realized, no, you know what? call me back soon.
Right.
But I have to raise this baby, and that's always been my priority.
Did they call you back?
Well, they didn't, but I moved on into what I needed to do and what I should be doing, which is in the last few months I ran for Erie County Family Court, and that was quite a challenge, as I said, but a joy also. Had some great people working around me, and although we didn't quite make the ballot, we worked very hard to get our petitions in, get them in on time, and learned an awful lot about campaigning during that time.
Okay. What made you decide to go and practice law? What?
Good question. You know what? It was really a calling for me. I sensed the Lord calling me to that particular profession. I had already finished at an Ivy League school. I was done, and yet I knew that I wasn't quite finished. And I sensed the Lord saying, I want you to go on to law school. I said, but I got a degree in child psychology. I thought I would be working with children. And really what happened, it came full circle, because once I went to law school, finished there, went on into the DA's office, I knew that it was time for me to also work with children, and I got a chance to do that eventually.
Okay. That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's definitely excellent. I couldn't imagine. Did you get a scholarship? Because I'm sure like student loans, like, that's
Yes.
what's kicking my butt right now.
Well, you know, my family's always teasing me about being the brainiac, you know, being in the house instead of playing outside with the kids growing up. And they didn't have gifted and talented programs back there, but I finished high school in 3 years. As I said, I went on to an Ivy League school, so there were some gifts that God gave me early
good.
on. And so I was able to get some of those scholarships because of that.
Good, definitely,
Yeah.
because I went to school and, you know, I just went to Buff State, and when I got my student loan bill and it was time to start paying them,
Yeah, it can give
know.
you a little sticker shock,
yeah,
I'm sure.
it was like, you know what?
Absolutely. Yeah. But you know what? You're working in a profession that seems to be your area, and
Oh,
so
definitely.
you'll do well,
Definitely.
and you'll pay those off in no time.
Definitely. Okay. All right. So let's get to some of the questions on this sheet. I told myself I wasn't going to use this sheet. You know, I was just going to hold it because it says the Advocator, and that's how we're going to advertise the show. You know.
I got
But
you.
I'm going to use the sheet because I do definitely want to get some of these questions
Okay.
out. So first, I want to know, what are some significant things you learn during the race as for
Okay.
Erie County Family Court Judge?
Okay, I like that question because it also segues into why I have my friend Thomas Artis here.
I was trying to figure out why he was here.
Well, you know what? He actually signed one of my petitions.
Okay.
And toward the end of the petition process with the Board of Elections and all the political units that go together, you have to turn in petitions that are valid, meaning you have to have someone who's a voter in Erie County. There are a lot of rules that you have to follow, and my team was very meticulous about making sure we did that well. However, we got what's called objections in to some of our petitions, and one of the objections had to do with a Thomas Artis signed on one of my petitions. And the objection actually said that I, as the witness, willfully forged the name of a dead voter. I was stunned.
He looks a little dead.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
he looks very much alive to me.
I mean, he's so quiet, and he's just kind of like standing there, just like very not moving, So
He
I can
hasn't had
see, what they probably meant. I don't think they meant he was dead in the ground and buried. I think they probably just meant like he's just like.
Let me assure you that they said I forged the signature of a dead voter, and that's exactly what they meant.
I can't believe that. They must have meant like,
I have the paperwork
like he was
to show
like,
it. No. They said, look, we've got an obituary. He's been dead 2 years. How dare you? And so on and so forth. So I had to clear my name.
You know what it is?
What do you think?
Right, this is what happens, right? Like with comedians and stuff, like when they're no longer valid, they're dead. That's the only way I can make this make any kind of sense at this point.
I really understand you wanting to make this fit into a certain paradigm. It won't fit
No.
because that's why I'm here. I'm here to say to the public, look, this is what was said, and I need to get the truth out there because my reputation is everything.
Well, I'm going to stop making jokes about it, but it was the only way that I could find that anybody could fathom any kind of story like that.
Sure.
And the man, he's sitting here. I
Yes.
mean,
As
I was a little
proof.
worried for a second when you said he was dead because, you know, I got a little nervous.
I
you
can
know,
understand that.
We would have both needed a criminal lawyer at that point.
There you go. Exactly. But he's very much alive.
And
Yes.
he's well, and we
Yes.
just want to put that out there that the person who signed the petition, Thomas Artis,
Yes.
is alive and well. Say hello.
Hello, this is not Weekend at Bernie's. I am alive.
I don't know what that means, but
It's a reference to a film about a man that was dead and they were moving him around to place to place.
see, his comedy is dead.
Thank you.
You see? You see?
But the main thing is that we want the audience to know that this is the gentleman who signed my petition.
Okay, so we want the audience to know that he signed the petition, and we also want the audience to know that we will be right back after this break to hear more about what's going on in this situation, as well as learn a little bit more about Thomas Artis, the alive man who's here with us today. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Advocator. I am your host, Roxanne Danielle, and before we left, we learned about a dead man who is alive and well and sitting in our studio right now. I had to get up and check his pulse for a minute to see if he was really alive, and he is. I verified it. His comedic career is dead, but he's very much so alive. So let's go ahead and get back into the conversation that we were having. So we talked about the signature of the dead man, and you did touch on a little bit about the whole process
Yes.
of the getting the signatures and
Right.
signing. Can you
Yes.
tell us, just get a little bit more in depth so that we can have a better understanding of what that is?
Absolutely. If you're running for a political office in Erie County, whether it's running for judge, like I was, or if you're running for, say, city council, or you're running for any other position on the political scene, you normally have to get signatures from the citizens, from the voters, to say, look, we think that this person should be on the ballot and we should have an opportunity to vote for them. Well, that's what we did, and we had to get 2,000 valid signatures at a certain amount of time. July 9th was our deadline. We did all of that. However, your opponents, and I had 4 of them, had the opportunity to go through your signatures and petitions and decide whether or not they wanted to object to them. And that's fine too, that's part of the process. However, they want to make sure that they do their homework and do their due diligence before they make a blanket statement that I've forged the signature of a dead voter, which is what was done.
In my generation and era, that's called shots fired. That means that she is making a direct point and a deliberate point to let somebody know something about their work, about the signature with the dead man. And, you know, she said it in a very articulate way, but, you know, what we would say is shots fired.
Okay, I get
Okay,
that. I
so-
get that. It's a word picture, and I like it. I get
shots
that.
fired. You're
Yes.
firing shots back at the people who,
Absolutely.
who
I didn't have a choice because
Right.
it impugned my integrity. As I said before, I've been an attorney 30 years. You have to go by your word and who you are.
You don't
your
even
character.
have to defend yourself because the dead man is sitting right here. I mean, that's like,
Yes,
that's defense enough.
when they
that
gave
makes the show.
When they gave me the information, I simply Googled the name, meaning that's all they had to do to verify their objection to make sure they were right. They didn't bother doing that. They didn't take the time to do it. As soon as I Googled this man's name, his information popped up right away, the correct address, the correct name, and even that he works.
Wait,
Oh,
you Googled him and his address popped up?
well, I
You know how
Googled.
scary that is?
I Googled his name
How
and
did you
his
feel about that?
Trying to move.
Right.
and his actual information popped up about who he was, that he's a teacher assistant, that he works at a beautiful charter school.
Really?
And all of that came in an article concerning the Million Father March.
That's a scary thought. you got to be careful with stuff like that because it's so many people out here. You know, if you can just use Google or Facebook to just track.
There's a lot of
down.
information out there.
Jeez.
But for me, what I thought was, look at anybody could have found out that the information they were putting out there was not true.
You know,
it
what your
just
issue
wasn't
is?
true.
I'm going to tell you what your issue is. Your issue is you're expecting these people to be as bright-minded as you are. Oh, I just made that was a shot again. We just should call this segment "Shots Fired." I didn't mean to. I have nothing to do with this. I'm just hosting the show. I don't know what's going on.
I think you've taken up my cause somewhat in that you can see the fundamental fairness here is just, you know what, do your homework before you impugn someone's integrity.
Absolutely. Okay, so we were talking about the petitions,
Right.
the petition process.
Exactly.
Okay, so in regards to the petition process, so if you want to be a judge,
Yes.
and you have all the credentials to be a judge,
Yes.
all you have to do is go out and get these signatures. So what do? You walk the neighborhoods?
Absolutely. You
Okay.
just said it. And you get a team of people who are dedicated to, you know, your cause, who want to see you in office. And that's what we did. And it took us a month and a half to get those signatures, to talk to people, to go to festivals and things like that. So we were at Juneteenth at the time that Mr. Artist signed my petition in front of me. So he was very much alive at that time as well.
But
so,
but we have to remember his comedic career was dead.
okay, I'm gonna stay away from that. I'll let you handle
I'll
that.
handle that
Yeah,
one.
yes,
Okay.
you're well able to handle that. But at any rate, it was very clear to me once I did my research and did my due diligence that in fact the name that was being put out there was actually his dad, who had passed away a couple years ago.
So in regards to that and all of that happening,
Yes.
how did you, besides coming on the show, in what other ways did you combat that?
Well, I absolutely sent a very pointed letter to all those who are, I would say, leaders in the political community to let them know that, you know what, you need to make sure that you have your stuff straight before you put it out there the next time. And certainly when it comes to me, you need to make sure you know what you're doing.
So, as you stated when we began speaking, you were in the running. You
Right.
didn't make the ballot.
Right. We missed it by about 200. It was our first time out. We
Did it have
learned an
anything
awful
to
lot.
do with
It
this dead
really,
man?
it really didn't ultimately. Ultimately, we still had to bring over 2,000 good signatures.
Okay.
And so although this was a side issue, it was a very important side issue for me personally. But in order to get on the ballot, we did have to have those 2,000 valid signatures.
Okay. Okay. And you
So-
said you missed it by 200?
Yeah, it's about 200. We needed to bring in 2,000. We brought in about 2,200, but we probably should have, and the next time out, we'll have many more that we bring in. We've learned a lot.
Okay. So what is your when you go out?
Yes.
So you're knocking on my door right now.
Okay.
Now, I'm not really good at answering the door when I don't expect people to come.
Understood.
So here I am,
Okay.
and you're at my door.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you my address. You could probably Google it. Okay.
Okay. Usually it's me and maybe a friend,
Okay.
and we'll say, hi, we're with the whatever party, Independent, Democrat, Republican. And you know what? We don't want to take much of your time. Just want you to know that I'm running for Erie County Family Court Judge. And just want you to take a look at our petition.
Hold on, Christopher, go sit down. Hold on, we're at the door right now.
No problem,
One
ma'am.
second. Give me 1 second,
no problem.
okay? I
No
need
problem.
to deal with
Go
this.
right ahead.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Can you please go upstairs? I'm having a conversation with this lady. I think she's trying to sell me something. Hold on 1 second.
And I'll just be a moment. I just want you
Okay.
to know that there are 5 of us running, and I'm one of them. And I would like you to just take a look at my petition and see if you would be willing to sign for me to get on the ballot. I've been a lawyer 30 years, and I've been in family court almost 20. Would you think about it? And most people say, oh, okay, sure. And they'll sign it, and then I'll let them go on about their day.
See, I will probably sign it because Christopher's in the way and I need you to leave my door.
Some people do it for that reason.
Right.
It doesn't really matter to me as
Hold
long
that
as I
thought.
have your signature.
Right. Hold that thought. We will be back more because you know what? I think it's going to be really fun to do a couple of these little scenarios, and I'll be
Okay.
different people at the door.
Sounds
'Cause
good.
That'll be fun. We will be right back. We're having a lot of fun on the show on the Advocator today. We're having a good time.
Yes, we
and we
are.
will be back with more.
It greeted you at birth. It was there for your first step, your first mistake, your first kiss. It's with you when you win, when you lose, when you pick yourself up again. In every moment, you can feel it. Life. Human right number 3, the right to life. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
Welcome back to The Advocator. I'm your host, Roxanne Danielle, and we are having a lot of fun on the set today. We are having little shenanigans and laughing and joking and doing all of that, but we do have some more serious questions before we get it back into some fun. So, Katie, let's talk about why you decided to run for the judge.
Okay.
You know,
Erie County Family
you
Court.
got it.
Yes.
You got it.
Well, it's a good question. You know, like I said, much of my career has been devoted to family court matters. And for me, one of my greatest passions is seeing children and families thrive, not just survive. And so when families would come into family court, I would always, you know, enjoy trying to make sure that things were better from when they first came in to court. At the end of their case, I want to see that the family is doing better, that the children are doing better, and so forth. And so I saw a way to improve family court by running for judicial office. It meant that I would have some input into how family court is run. For example, the pretty much 9 to 4 schedule in family court, I could see an improvement in that there are many people who are working families, moms and dads. Many times they might be coming in for custody battles or visitation issues. And because they have to come back so many times with their cases, it means that sometimes people have lost their jobs just trying to make sure they're there at that 9 o'clock hour or they're there at that 2 o'clock hour, when you could have a night and evening court, a night court, like you do for traffic tickets and so forth. Certainly families are more important than that. So I see that as something that I would want to improve.
Absolutely. But if we're at a door, you got about 10 seconds
That's
to
all you
sell me
have.
that same message.
Uh-huh.
What's like the mission statement, the
What's
two
the
sentences?
catch?
What is it?
It's always, look, I want to make sure that I'm doing the best for families in our county of Erie. Would you sign for me to get on that ballot to have an opportunity to do that? So I do that in just 10 seconds.
And that's good.
And I
yeah.
can usually
See?
get them to sign just that quick.
Look at that's confidence right there. She said, and she had the little, and I can get them.
You could tell that, huh?
And, oh yeah, I
but
picked
you know
right
what?
up on it.
There's still sincerity behind it because I absolutely mean it.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you, definitely. Okay, so we've had a lot of time to talk with you about what it is that you're doing, what it is that you want to do. What's next?
Well, you know what? I'll continue as an attorney, continue in my family and helping to raise my grandsons and that. And when there's another opportunity, there'll be another seat open at some point, and I will again
Definitely
go
run
on
again.
and run for it. Yes,
See,
absolutely.
You don't
For
give up
sure.
at your first no. You
That's
keep
right.
going, you keep on trying to make it happen.
That's
the
right.
problem with a lot of people. They give up too fast. If it doesn't work when they want it to work, they go ahead and give up.
Yeah.
But I am so excited about this part of the show because we have an opportunity to talk to a dead man. Thomas, what is going on? You're alive. We checked your post. You're well.
Well,
Yes. I want to know a little bit about you as a person, but first, before we get into that, I want to know about how you support Katie.
well, I had a wonderful opportunity to meet Katie during the Juneteenth program. She came over and mentioned that she was running for family court judge, and I thought, tell me more about your platform. What are you standing for? What are you wanting? She
Did she
shared
sell
that
you in
with
10
me.
seconds?
No, because I tend to interject. So my 10 seconds normally goes for about like 5 minutes.
Okay.
And so she did. She withstood my barrage of questions. And if anyone can do that, they're definitely worth my vote.
Right.
So I signed Thomas Artist because that's who I am. And then several weeks later, I get a notice that please contact me because apparently you are not alive. You're a dead man. I thought that was rather suspicious. I didn't know whether or not to answer because who is this person again? And so she contacted me again, are you alive? Because since I didn't answer the first time, she might have assumed I was dead.
Hey, Thomas, can you please give me a call? Because I need to know if you're alive. Yeah, I just don't know that
Right.
you're. I'm speaking to you,
Yes.
but you still may be dead, according to Erie County. So, can we meet? Is that how it went?
Yeah,
I can't,
well, roughly.
I can't imagine.
Well, I was surprised. She comes to my workplace and she says, Erie County believes that I'm dead. These people believe that you are dead. And
So are you dead?
No, I'm not, because one, Erie County is still taking money out of my paycheck. So apparently Erie County is doing quite well.
Yeah.
So according to them, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
She had the wonderful opportunity to speak with me. So again, I'm not dead. So I said, what is this process to prove that I'm not dead, seeing that I'm still paying taxes and they're
Right.
taking money from me?
You know what? I would have just rolled with it. You know what? I am dead. And I wouldn't want any more taxes taken out. I'd stop paying taxes. I'd stop, paying on the house. I'm dead. Erie County
Yes.
said it. It's here. It's fact.
Right.
So you probably
settles
shouldn't have came on the show because you just
I really blew it.
You-
I
you
really
just
blew it.
messed up. You messed all of that up.
I did.
Well,
And
you helped
that's
me
separate.
out, though.
But
You helped
however,
her.
to help a
Right.
friend, I said, what is this going on? What's happening? So she says, this is what they said. They said, apparently you're dead. You died 2 years ago. And I said, thank you for bringing up a terrible subject. Yes, my father died 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry about that. But yes, we do have the same address. And I can see how they made that mistake. But they could have at least checked their information
Now,
first.
how did that conversation go? Did you feel like bad or like terrible? I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but
No.
I would feel terrible. Like, oh.
Well, may I interject? She knows me too well.
Okay.
She went, Is Mr. is pulling my leg? Apparently he's still smiling, so he was probably just poking fun at her.
Yeah.
But my father did die. Great guy. Loved him. He was awesome for me. But I said, what can we do to fix this?
Right.
So she said A, B, C, and D, which is fantastic when you meet someone that says, this is the problem, this is how you fix the problem, and this is how we can move on.
Women usually have a problem with that. They'll tell you, like, this is the problem, and then you say, let's fix it, and then they have no idea.
Yeah. No,
what issues.
not when it
I'm
comes-
upset, I'm mad, blah, blah,
No,
you figure it
no.
out.
Not when it comes to something like this.
Yeah.
I knew exactly
What
what
to
was
do,
needed.
what to
And you know
do.
what? He was so gracious. I had an affidavit for him to sign that said, look, this is who I am. This is where I live. So on and so forth. He signed it. He got it notarized. And so I have ironclad proof.
Okay, I'm going to stop you for a second
Okay.
because I want you, we have about a minute left.
Oh, my.
And yeah, we sped right through this. Tell us just a little bit about your program, your school.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm a teacher assistant at the Aloma D. Johnson Charter School on Main and Jewett. It is a fabulous school. We're a K through 4 building, and coming up on September 14th, we
Yes.
have our Million Fathers March.
okay. Link us right to the website.
adjcharter.org.
Okay, that's all the time we give to the dead man. It was a wonderful show. We definitely had fun. Thank you for tuning into The Advocator. We will see you next time.